Hello and welcome back to Joey Sewy. I'm Jo, channel's Joey Sewy. We do sewing, styling and self-care here, and today and tomorrow we're going to do what have I been sewing in April. So today's video is the prom sewing and tomorrow's video is the everything else sewing. Seeing as I'm doing a video every day, I decided to make them a little bit shorter in length and split them into two. So just to start with what I am wearing, I will insert some video of what I'm wearing. This dress is not me made, but you saw it in my wardrobe audit. And since you saw it, I have fixed it. I fixed the sleeves, which I had originally already altered because they were long sleeves and I didn't enjoy them that way. So I changed the sleeves. And when I got it out of my wardrobe and I showed it to you guys, one of the hems had fallen down on the sleeves and was frayed. So tiny little mend, but a me made touch, and I fixed the sleeves the other day. And having said to you that I don't wear dresses very often, it is true, I just thought maybe I should give it a go. So I put it on. I have got, as you will see, I've got it on with black tights and biker boots, and it's actually pretty warm. So I'm just dressing it like a winter dress still. And as you can see, I have layered it. You can see it on the video. I've layered it with a polo neck. So I may get roasting later in the day, but I do like how this looks. They weren't bought to go together, but this polo neck is really good under one of my leopard print dresses. If you're very eagle-eyed, you will have seen it before. So that is what I'm wearing today on day 8 of Me Made May. Yes. I don't know what day it is. Let's go on with the sewing. So prom, why am I sewing for prom? Well, not for myself, sadly, well beyond that. But if you've been following me along with my vlogging every day escapades, you will know that my son has just turned 18. And a week or so before that, just before the start of May, it was his prom because he is leaving school this time. In fact, in terms of formal lessons, he's leaving in 3 days and doing his A-level exams. So both terrifying and exciting. And I sewed not just for him, but also for one of his best friends. So I have a waistcoat that I made for him, and I think the pattern was called an Elven cape, which I made for his friend. And both turned out swimmingly. So this sewing started back in March. This is not the waistcoat that he wore for prom. This is the test waistcoat. So the pattern, I will have to put the number up. It was a new look pattern, I think. Pretty sure about that. It was a new look pattern, men's waistcoat pattern. He always has big ideas and then leaves it, and then it's quite last minute when he actually asks me to help. So there was no way that we were going to make the full frock dress coat with embroidery that he wanted with a month to go. So we managed it down to a purchased suit and a fancy waistcoat, which in the end he was perfectly happy with and was great. So waistcoat it was that I was on for sewing. So I decided to make a toile out of denim that I had in my stash. I was particularly pleased with how the tie at the back looked. It was simply the denim that is the reverse of the denim, so it's the inside. You can't see the inside because the thing's lined. But that's how the tie looks at the back. It is sewn in place, these pleats, which means you do have to get the fit quite well. And then on the pattern picture that I have given you, you will have seen that actually this can have a collar, which I thought would look really good for the style he was going for, but he didn't want a collar. And normally it would have buttons here and here in a double-breasted style, but into a V. But he liked the asymmetric V, and actually I quite agree. So with this one, it is denim, and it's got these brown buttons, and it was the so-called wearable toile. He has not worn it yet, but I am glad that I toiled it, not just for fit, which I did want to do, but also for construction, because I went ahead thinking, well, actually not reading the instructions. I bet you've never done that, have you? Maybe you haven't, but I have. And I should learn my lesson because I like actually following instructions. It's nice having someone else having worked it out. More on that tomorrow in a pattern that I have been following where the instructions are terrible. But this one I wasn't following the instructions, and so I did the construction in the wrong order and ended up with the lining trying to do the lining at the wrong point and having done it in the wrong order. But I saved it, and this was only a practice, so I learned from my practice, which is what you're supposed to do. But it means that the side inside the lining, it's a bit rough, you know, it's not the best, but it doesn't matter because I've saved it. So on the outside, we've made that feature top stitching in the brown thread, and on the inside it is functional because the way I'd sewn the lining, it didn't quite work. And actually, I think in the end I added a little bit tight, like another centimetre here, just to make it slightly better on the fit. So I did learn something on the fit as well. Did top stitching, not stop stitching, around the armholes. And I had a day of doing all the buttonholes, because I actually didn't bother with the buttonholes on the toile until after I'd finished the real one. So I think there was one day and I did buttonholes on this, buttonholes on the real waistcoat, buttonholes on the shirt dress that I'll share tomorrow. It was about 30 buttonholes in a day. So that is the wearable toile waistcoat of my son's prom waistcoat. I have no pictures of him wearing this because he, other than for me to ask him to try it on, he has not worn it yet. Whether he will wear it, I don't know. It might be an item that never gets worn, but we shall see. The item that did get worn is this beauty. Look at that fabric. So I also have pictures of him in it, and it looks even better with him in it. So let's have a look at those for a moment. The fabric is a brocade fabric, and as I say, I mean, the fabric's quite fancy enough, so whether he needed a collar or not, I don't know. We were calling this Bridgerton core, even though the original inspiration wasn't Bridgerton. As soon as I started looking at the styles, and when we found this fabric, it was Bridgerton all over, in my opinion. So there's a label, it's got a swear on it. If you don't like that, look away now. So I put a label in there. It's actually a label that's meant for knitwear, but I don't have any other labels. But I wanted him to know that this was made with love and a lot of time. Actually, not that much money, but time is money. It is lined in a green something or other that was in my stash. I have a little box of things suitable for lining, so don't know what it is, don't know where it came from, don't know how long I've had it, but it's like a forest green lining inside. It has one inner button, which is obviously currently not fastened up. Also the outside buttons, no idea where they came from. I have a box full of buttons, and I try not to buy buttons because I just have so many. Although at the moment I do need some navy buttons, and I haven't got any like navy shirt buttons, and I get gutted when I haven't got any buttons because I'll have to buy some. So this fabric, I am sure, in fact I know it's upholstery fabric. It's a jacquard, so these are satin weaves, but it's a lovely fabric, and he wanted something really ornate. I got this in Liverpool in person. I was in Liverpool for a conference and used the opportunity to fabric shop in person, and walked to a street where there were, I think there were 5 fabric shops, might have been 4, but 4 fabric shops in one street outside of London. I genuinely don't know anywhere like that, and if you know, I would love to know, because I'm going there on my holidays, because to have that many shops all together was amazing. And green and gold was my brief, and he'd kind of shown me some inspiration images that were quite baroque. So when I saw this, I sent him a picture. So I was supposed to be at a conference. He was supposed to be at school in a free period revising. But actually I was in a fabric shop and he was answering my texts about fabric. But priorities, you know. I went back to the conference. He went back to revising. It was fine, and we got the fabric. So I think he looked so handsome in this waistcoat. I was really proud that he was able to wear something that I made. He really loved it. It was exactly what he wanted. So that was wonderful. And what was even more wonderful was that I made this Elven cape, which I will show you a picture of now. I don't have my hands on it because it doesn't belong to me anymore. And his friend Clovis won Best Dressed at Prom. Best dressed in the cape that I made. so pleased. She really deserved it because she's got such great style. The dress that she has under the cape was from Vinted, and it's a wonderful green style, and she and him, they weren't dating because that's not what either of them into, but they wanted to look like each other, because actually when they first made the prom plans, neither of them had partners. So they have matching capes, and so I will share down below and maybe some pictures of what the Elven cape looks like. It didn't originally have the shoulder details, but clearly I just put shoulder details on everyone else's stuff as well. Not really. She'd also got an inspiration picture, and I said, well, I know we can easily put some shoulder details on like that. I've got a pattern that looks like it, which is called, I think it's the 11th of February origami blouse. I cannot remember. I will put let me find the picture. I'm back. Here it is. So You Made My Day patterns, and I think one of their things is that everything that they name is named after a day. The 11th of February origami blouse. Wow, well remembered by me. So there are your line drawings, which hopefully come through okay, and you can see on the shoulders like that. Sorry, that's going to be really blurry, but the shoulders, I've made this, I don't have it in real life anymore, but it's literally like a, I don't know what you would call that. I am sure there is like an epaulette. So I knew that I had some instructions on the sort of size and the sort of type of epaulette we could add. And she was so excited when she realised not only could she have a cape, who doesn't want a cape, and she could have the epaulettes. So she found the gold fabric from Etsy, I think, which was like a foiled print gold on the gold side, and we made the epaulettes out of that. But it looks a lot darker than the cloak because I interfaced it with black interfacing, so that it would have the stiffness, because you can see from the cloak, from the pictures, that the cloak itself was so fluid, and when it caught it was a bit of a windy day, which was perfect for the outfit. When it caught the wind, it just looked amazing. But the epaulettes needed to be very stiff, so we used interfacing and possibly a bit of actual like batting in there as well. And she looked amazing, and she won Best Dressed at Prom. So that was the start of my April sewing, basically the start of the month, and the fabric shopping for that was at the end of March. I was doing prom sewing, and I was very proud of myself because even though I was sewing to a deadline, I finished Clovis's cape before she went on holiday. So I finished that about 2 weeks early because I did not want the stress of that hanging around. And the waistcoat, I finished everything except sewing the buttons on before the day before the prom. And I was also quite pleased about that because I don't like sewing under stress. It is not fun. I did do the buttons on the night before prom, I think it was. But even then, for me, that's like finishing with a year to spare. And so it wasn't stressful. It was rewarding. Everyone loved what they'd got, and everyone had a great time. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow with the non-prom sewing that I did in April. See you then.